Hey, everybody, thank you for...
I thought you said I'm supposed to start.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Hey, guys, we want to say thank you for joining us here this evening or this...
Well, whenever they're joining us, because it's on podcast and they can listen to it whenever they want. So just thank you so much for listening to us. This is Launching Us, a small podcast where we talk about us becoming small business owners.
Yeah. And the journey that it took to get here. If you don't know, we own Aveo Creation. If you're watching us here on if you're watching us on YouTube, you're watching us on our channel that is specific to our business page, Aveo Creation. We own a content creating company, and we're very excited about it. We wanted to document for each other, but also document it for people who may be walking in faith or walking into small business owners. And so thank you all for watching us last week. It's our launch. Yeah. And we're super grateful. We had a lot of amazing feedback, amazing people, came to us and told us amazing things that were happening, and they felt encouraged. We felt encouraged. For sure. It was a really great moment to kind of just say, hey, look, this is what we're doing. And we really, really are grateful for every single person who subscribed, for every single person who watched, every single person shared, every single person who reached out to us individually, or even together and told us, how much this meant to them, or either how proud they are of us. I want you to know that those encouraging words are like fuel for our soul. So thank you so much.
Yeah. I mean, it was really good to talk to a few people. I talked to somebody that goes to our church named Husto. If you're listening, this is a shout out for you. He pulled me aside Sunday. He goes, hey man, I just want to say great job. You definitely got a listener in me. And so, that's really cool. And we got a lot of messages from you guys. And so just thank you for everybody who comments below. Yeah. Our channel is really small right now, so I get to read all the comments and like them all. And so right now it's pretty cool. So thank you so much for liking and subscribing. And it just really motivates us. So
one of the topics that a lot of people actually mentioned to us was about the fact that I didn't want to change my last name. A lot of people were like, so what's the story behind it? So we thought that we would make a 2-part episode on our last name and the challenges, the generational curses, the things that we that we struggled with, specifically that was tied into this last name. And so,
which is my last name.
Yeah, which is his last name. So I'm going to, do you want to start on that? Let's talk a little bit about that. No, yeah.
What was your thing like on why you didn't want to change your name? Like, what was the biggest thing? I mean, obviously I know you love your last name, but like, I that's the funny thing too. Like, I don't remember it being that big of a deal. Like at first. And then like the longer it wasn't long, but as long as that conversation went on, and especially the more we had people involved in the conversation. And so marriage tip, don't get too many people involved in your conversation. But the more people got involved in the conversation, it was like back and forth. And so, we have a few people that have changed their name. We know a few people that haven't changed their name.
And that's okay. That's a preference.
Yeah, it's definitely a preference. And for me, I didn't think it would be that big of a deal. No. And then like we got married and you didn't want to change your name. And I was just like, but you're Lazo now.
And I was like, no, I'm still Rodriguez, dude.
Yeah. Well, also, I was like, what are you going to do when we have kids and they're Lazos? And
that was, I feel like, I want to say this. When I come from a family, we all have our hiccups or like our issues, right? In every family looks different.
Oh, yeah.
But I come from a family of like pastors and like good people,
at least 2 generations of pastors.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I loved my father. I loved my mother.
Your grandfather.
My grandfather. I mean, like, I loved being a Rodriguez. We actually have a Facebook page called the Rodriguez Clan, which, I'm part of, us as cousins and stuff like that. So it felt weird. And I had always said, well, I'm not going to change my last name for anybody. And then I married my husband.
Good thing I wasn't anybody.
Yeah.
I was the special one.
You were so special. And I loved being married. I love that I got married to you and it wasn't a big deal to you. And I was like, I don't really want to. And at one point I was like, yeah, I do want to change my name, maybe 1 or 2 years into the marriage. But you had such an issue with your own last name.
Yeah. I think that's why I wasn't that concerned with it.
Yeah.
And
do you want to talk a little bit about?
Yeah, for sure. So my history is, I would guess, I think it's a normal situation now in most families, family divorce or growing up without a father. Other things, I think those things are very normal now. Not that it's so normal that it shouldn't be talked about, or if you have issues with it, you shouldn't seek help about it. I don't think it's like that normal. I just think it's a common thing for people to grow up without a dad. And so like my dad left us. He basically went back to his home country, which is El Salvador, and he just didn't come home one day.
Yeah.
My mom came home from the trip, and I just remember, I remember this story, and I don't have that many stories in my childhood, but I definitely remember this story of sitting like in the hallway. We grew up in Galveston, so we have an old Victorian home that we lived in. So it was a huge space. And I remember just standing in the foyer, looking at the double doors and like just thinking, so when is dad coming back?
Yeah.
And my older sister, which I learned recently why they never got along. But she's like, he's not coming back. Just forget about him.
Yeah.
And as a kid, I was just like, oh, that's harsh. Like,
yeah,
that's my dad. Like I said, I don't have that many memories of him, but I do have a few memories, and the ones I remember are good. And I was just like, I don't know where he is. And they just remember kept going longer and longer and longer, and he never came back. And then eventually my mom started dating someone else, and she remarried this guy that became my stepdad, and he's became an amazing inspiration to my life. I'm so grateful for his life. He passed away a few years ago, but I'm extremely grateful. I think all of us call him dad more than our biological dad. And so for me growing up, like I never knew who I was. My identity was like really washed. And so I just didn't like my last name, because in that thought process, it was associated to this guy who abandoned his family. This guy that, I learned years later that he actually had another kid with the exact same name that I have.
Yeah.
I'm slightly older than him by like a few months. And I remember he immigrated into the state, and for some reason my dad wanted us to meet. And so like he called my mom and he was like, hey, I'm going to be in town.
Yeah.
I would really like you guys to meet so-and-so, or just to say hi in general. And I was like, I don't really want to go.
Yeah.
But I think my siblings or my sister wanted to go, or my mom was like really encouraging us to probably go. And so I remember going there, I met him, and I was just like, this guy's a jerk. Like he's not really a good guy. And I was like, this is where my family tree starts, like, or at least this is part of my family tree. And I just didn't like it. I just didn't like that thing. And I just was really insecure about my own last name. And so when you were like, I didn't want to change my name, a part of me was kind of like, well, yeah, I wouldn't, didn't really want my name either. I know my brother and I, we talked about changing our name to our stepfather. Because his name meant something. We loved the Barrientos name. And so we were really inspired by him. He ran his own business. First person I've ever known to run his own business and be really successful at it. Someone to definitely look up to in the Galveston community. And so, it's, something about having a strong name meant a lot to me. And so like not having one.
And I think that was really challenging for me, because for me, I came from a family where we were proud of our last names. I feel like I have several cousins who have their last names tattooed to their bodies. Like, so I felt like you don't even like your last name. Why would I change? That's harsh, but why would I change it?
Yeah.
And then
I don't know why we never thought about me changing my name to you. Like that was never a conversation. I guess just because of the age group we are, like that's not a thing. And I guess like culturally, that's not a thing of men changing their names to their wives.
No.
Nothing against like men or women. It's not a thing. So we never talked about it.
No, we never really did that. I feel like you were okay with me keeping my name and I was okay with keeping my name. And then I feel like, just like you said, people continued like to ask, oh, when you're going to change your name. And I was like, oh, I'm not going to change my name. And then
I literally just remembered. So we were somewhere, I forgot where we were. And someone said, Miss Rodriguez? And you go, oh, here. And they go, Miss Rodriguez, you want to come? And I go, I'm not Miss Rodriguez. And they're like, oh, okay. And we weren't married yet. And I was just like, yeah, I'm not going to like that. Like in my head, I was like, I know I'm not going to like this. And then I remember we were married and they did the same thing to us. And I was like, nah, I'm a Lazo, man. And she was like, oh, I'm sorry. You know, Miss Rodriguez, I just figured. And I was like, yeah, she didn't take my name. I just remember that being such an awkward moment. I don't know how I forgot that. But that happened. I think that's what stung me.
Started the
that's what like stung my heart a little bit. Like, nah, you need to change your name, girl. We need to have the same name.
And you know what's funny is that like as time went on, people started like asking, when are you going to change your name? It started around the same time. Well, it was like, I feel like culturally, this is always the thing that happens is that you when are you going to get a girlfriend? When are you going to get a girlfriend? And then you get a girlfriend. When are you going to get engaged? And then after we were married, it was like, when are you going to have a baby? When are you going to have a baby? And we were both kind of like, and at the same time, it was, oh, well, when are you going to change your last name? You haven't changed your name yet? Why haven't you changed your name yet? And like,
only with a few people were like that. But okay, so here we'll fast forward because I don't want to sit in this subject forever.
Yeah.
But I remember when we finally had our kids.
Yes.
Because I remember that moment too. Someone called me Mr. Rodriguez.
It happened with Sophia.
It happened with our daughter, and then our son is only 10 months, 11 months apart.
And then it happened with when it happened with Sophia, and you were like, "Are you going to change your name?" And I was like, I don't know yet. And then we had John, and then it happened like 3 days in a row. We were in the NICU with him.
And I got called Mr. Rodriguez quite a few times there.
Yeah.
And I remember like them saying the name, and my son's name is John Texas Lazo. And so I remember seeing that face, but I just remember having our kids, and my wife and I would start having these conversations about making our name matter.
Yeah.
And I think that's the topic that we definitely want to focus on is that also was something that changed for us is I want to make my name matter. I don't want to be associated with this Lazo mentality that I'm the only one that gave myself that this name means divorce. This name means adultery. This name means abandoning. This name meant all this stuff to me. And so we started working on how do we change that? What can we do to change that? And I remember holding my kids and thinking, they're Lazos. I need to make this name matter. Yeah. We need to make this name matter.
Yeah.
It needs to be something more. And now if you meet us now, or if you get a chance to hear us, like I tell the kids all the time, we're Lazos. Yeah.
They even have a song.
Yeah, we have a song. We stole it from Parks and Recs, but we said eggs, bacon, and toast. Start our day the Lazo way. And I would say that all the time. So now I sound very boastful and proud of my name. And, you know, when the kids say something like, oh, I can't do that. No, yes, you can. You're a Lazo. You can do anything.
Yeah.
And so we speak that into their lives because I don't want them to ever think that their name don't matter or they're not something. And so with us starting our own business this year, that's definitely something that we're thinking about now is leaving a legacy
for them. Absolutely. I think that exactly what you said about us after we had the kids, that conversation became, okay, what do we want our names to mean or matter? Like what is our family mission? Like we talked about it, this is even back when we were in Washington and John was like only like 12 months, year, 18 months.
Yeah. He was like going on 2, I think.
Yeah. And about 18 months is when we started talking about like, okay, well, what do we want our family mission statement to be? What do we serve people that's who we are, right? Yeah. And that's kind of like our family mission statements. We serve people, and that's who we are. And we talked about that, and we're like, okay, so what does that mean? Just rewind. After I had John, I did change my name.
Yeah, she is a Lazo.
I am a Lazo.
It is on her license, our business. It's on that check that we just got from the last job we just worked.
Yeah. I did change my name.
It's there. She's officially and have been a Lazo for the last 10 years. 7.
No, we've been married for 11. It's just as long as John. So 6 years.
Okay. Well, we've been. There's no need for numbers. Who cares? You are officially.
I'm officially a Lazo as of after John, and and so then we really started talking about that after. And I think that when we started to talk about what do we want our last name to match, what do we want to leave for our kids? What is that generational, what are the generational curses that we want to break? What are the things that we want our kids to be proud of when they hear their last name?
Yeah.
And I think that we came up with my favorite thing, thanks to MOPS, we came up with the mission statement, which is we serve people.
Yeah.
That's who we are, right? And then
MOPS, for those that know, is Mothers of Preschoolers, and she used to be a part of that community.
Yeah.
And that's what they came up with. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we came up with that mission statement. And then especially when we moved back home, we started thinking, okay, so how are we going to be way more intentional? And like you said,
especially with like starting a business.
Yeah.
Because before, like, previously our mission statement, and I think it somehow still is, but like the idea of serving people, that's who we are. We serve people.
Yeah.
That's because we both worked in like nonprofit organizations. Yeah. Now that we're moving into small business owners, we're kind of leaning to this idea of
how can we be as generous as possible? How can our name be known as a generous people?
Yeah. We think we grew up we're both in the Galveston County area. And so we have like the Moody's,
the Kempners,
the Fatitas, the Sillies.
Yeah.
We have a lot. I just had one more and it just flipped my mind. But we have a lot of people, a lot of families through generations of families that are known in the Galveston area as these are your big donors. These are your big people that are going to do stuff. These are the places that you're going to see monuments with their names on it. Right now, currently, I work at a building. Because I can't say the name, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I work at a place, and in there is the Vatitas room. This is the Silly Foundation. And if you know we're there, then you might know where I work. But nonetheless, like, we see those names. And I remember telling Rose one day, I was like, I want to pay for something just so we can have our name on it. Like, I don't really care. Like, even at her old job, I was like, look, we'll just give the money and I'll just put a plaque and say the Lazos. And she was just like, that's so stupid. But it's not. Like, that's not a stupid thing.
No.
If that's your only goal in life, then yeah, that's stupid. But that's not stupid.
I think we talked about, we wanted to be so generous that at some point we wanted to be able to, donate land to a nonprofit so they can build their building, or that we could be so generous or be so wealthy that we could be generous and for Christmas donate thousands of dollars worth of toys to all of these organizations, which, if you don't know, in December, a portion of all of the photos that were taken during December for the Christmas specials Christmas special sessions that we mini sessions that we did, a portion of everything that was collected that month went to donating toys for organizations in our county.
Yeah.
So, we wanted to be that type of people.
Yeah, from the very beginning. So basically half of last year was our year one. And so I think this summer we'll complete a physical year. But nonetheless, like, even though we didn't make that much during the Christmas minis, we still
gave. Absolutely.
And so we wanted to start off at the bat with like that giving mentality.
Yeah.
And so that's something that we've gone through, and that's something we want to share with you guys, was the idea that, one, because she had a lot of people asking about why do you want to change your name, but also there was a good reason why she didn't want to change her name, because I was really insecure about it. And once we worked on our mindset and worked on their reasoning, especially when we had the kids, that gave me a purpose to want to change that.
Yeah.
Now owning our business, that gives us a greater reason to want to change it. We want to change it for our community. We want something where our kids can listen to it in the future and go, I'm very proud of what my mom and dad did.
Yeah.
And then when they have kids, they're sharing that over to their kids, that you're proud to be a Lazo. And that, someday my daughter, if depending on how the world is, if she's like, nah, you're taking my name. When she gets married, she's going to tell her husband, no, you're going to take my name. Yeah, your name isn't on that building there. You're going to take my name. We're Lazos. And I would hope that he'd be like, yeah, you're right.
I would like to talk a little bit deeper about what you were talking about, like the looking into the future. I think we've talked a little bit about like the businesses and like the dreams of like being able to be so generous that we can buy land, give out scholarships, do all of these things. What are some like tangible things that you feel like this year we could do in giving or being generous or serving people using our last name?
Well, for sure, I think we're going to continue to do what we did last year. We're going to, at the end of the Christmas year, we're going to give gifts or some type of Christmas offering to a nonprofit on the island.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the island, but in Galveston County.
Yeah. I think we talked about in July, we want to do a percentage off of family packages for anyone who are veterans. I know that was something
that we would definitely want to do for sure. And so anyone who served in any way, shape, or form, in any branch of the military, not a chief job. Never mind. I'm gonna continue going on. Someone told me they're like, because I said I won't say anything stupid because I'm being recorded, and they're like, really? And I was like, so I'm really trying not to say something stupid, even though I do have the power to cut it out and edit it. I still don't want to say anything stupid, and so so that we're gonna give to veterinarians, to vets this year during the summer. We want to give during the Christmas time. I don't know. I don't have anything else on top of my head. I know we talked about doing like classes or trainings for people that are probably like younger and wanting to go into the photography video world. And so I know I've been trying to bring one of the girls that go to our church. I'm like, I'm always telling her, hey, come help me. Come help me here. I'll pay you. It's not a lot, but I'm going to pay you because I want you to see like this is a tangible thing. This could be a business. This is something you can start right now and start building something for yourself. Mm-hmm. You don't have to start working this 9-to-5 job and start working for someone else. Like you can do this now.
And you're young. Yeah.
I've met one of the ladies I met this week. She cut my hair, and she was saying that her parents are both graduated from medical school, and she started doing hair and what is it called? Cosmetologist. Mm-hmm. She started doing all that stuff. And then she went to school to become a lawyer, and she just was so in love with doing hair and makeup and stuff that she kind of dropped out and pursued that. And so like, I was just like, man, that's crazy that you would drop, being a lawyer for doing hair or makeup, but she loved it.
Yeah.
And so like, if it's definitely something that you love to do,
there's a career in it.
There's a career in there. There's something you can do. And it's only up to you, especially in this world of YouTube and TikTok and so many different type of ways. There's so many ways to make money. And that's definitely something we'll talk about in the future.
Love to do.
Yeah. And what you love to do. So you can take what you love to do and make it a profitable business.
Yeah.
And start changing that perspective, just the way how we changed our perspective on my name. Like you can change that perspective. Yeah.
And I would say like, I'm proud to be a Lazo now. Like my kids, like I said, they have really, I love how
they have no other memory of nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They don't know anything about heartache or break or like, of someone leaving or, no marriage is perfect. Absolutely no marriage is perfect. It's work every day, right?
For sure.
So, not to say that we're perfect in any way, but we've fought through all of and fought together for our marriage.
Yeah.
And then our kids in return are seeing, those generational curses be broken.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for
the
sure.
kindness to each other that we share, the kindness that we share with them, the fact that they, you know, that they feel so much pride when they sing their breakfast song.
Yeah.
And my daughter, especially Sophia, I feel like John's kind of like, I'm a Lazo, but Sophia's like, no, I'm a Lazo.
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty
especially
cool.
when we get with my brother and my nephews, because they're the Lazos. Everyone else just changed their name and became different names. But for sure, they're like, oh, we're Lazos. Like, so they grab my 2 nephews and my brother and they go, we're Lazo. This is the Lazo family. Yeah. And then
we're the Lazo family. That's when they say a lot. So it just feels good to know that, like, despite
my history, it's really mine.
Yeah, despite the history, God has really done some transformation, not only in your heart, but in my heart. And He's done amazing transformation into the lives of our kids. And I think that goes back to that biblical principle, you know, where when we serve God, He changes our future for the better. He changes those things.
Yeah.
And honestly, I feel like I have seen that change. And I mean, as years go past, I mean, we're about to celebrate our 11-year anniversary on Friday.
Yeah.
Actually the day that this drops is going to be,
drops on our anniversary.
I can just know that in 10, 15 years, how much God is going to even continue to change us, and give us the desires of our heart, and in the retrospect of, like, not giving us stuff, but in the sense of, like, the changes in our lives that were for the better, which ultimately is what we desire in God, right? Is to be more like Christ. Yeah. And that makes me excited.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for watching this episode. We're going to break this up in 2 pieces. We're not done talking about this topic. There's a lot more that we want to talk about, but we're in it now because we're trying to stay within a certain time frame for our videos and our podcast. But thank you so much for watching. Please, for sure, hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, share it, help these guys out. If you like what you're hearing, then just continue listening too. That's a huge help. So thank you so much from us, the Lazos, and this is Launching Us.